years later, when we both became single men for the first time, we decided to go on holiday. And it was at this point that I realised just how disorganised this guy really was. I came into his house to collect him with our lift waiting outside. There he was, sitting on the armchair of his sofa, staring at the washing machine. I said, John, come on, we're going to the airport. He says, I've got to wait for the washing to finish. I said, John, what on earth are you doing the washing before we go on holiday? He said, it's my clothes. He walked over to the washing machine, put his hold all beneath it, dragged the wet clothes out into the bag. He said, come on, we'll dry them out there. I'm not lying. On top of that, I then said to him, who's looking after your cats? He thought for a moment. Bugger. He dragged a large sack from his utility room to the kitchen. He kicked a hole into the bottom of it. Contents spilled out on the floor. He said, well, that's the food sorted. So what else do we know about John? Well, he's very undomesticated. He once actually rung me to ask how to make an omelette. You may think he's very cultured because of his love of red wine, but the truth of the matter is, it's because it gets him pissed quicker than beer. He's also very reluctant to share. And this is something which myself and some very close friends here can remember one night in a Chinese restaurant. We all decided to go out and have a fixed meal, a sharing platter. John said he didn't want to share, he was very hungry. He said, tough, like that's the way it's happening. So he decided that he would try and get his pick of the food quicker than anyone else. And as the waitresses came over with the bowls of water with lemon in it. Now, we all know what this is for. John didn't. He grabbed the bowl of water with lemon in it and proceeded to start drinking it with a spoon. Okay? We all looked at each other, but we daren't say a word, pissing ourselves laughing. As soon as he finished this disgusted look grew across his face. He tossed the spoon into the bowl, pushed it away and went, I don't think much of their soup. We haven't even started. Ever the man for forward planning, John's proposal to Alex was no less than the fairy tale any girl could wish for. He proposed to her in his house, in the kitchen, in front of the fridge, on the floor. It must have been a forgettable moment for her. I was not surprised when they got engaged. John had for a long time been looking for a perfect girlfriend, and when a lady as lovely as Alex came along, he obviously wasn't going to wait around. I am, however, of the opinion that John's family were a little bit more surprised. I do, however, think that they thought for a while that we were gay.
No. Promo. We're still not sure.
They went to stay with his nan, and she said, so John, have you found yourself a girlfriend yet? Or have you two got something you'd like to tell me? Now, I can't imagine why she thought we were gay. I mean, it's not even as if she knew about the time he climbed into bed with me and stuck his hand. John has a habit of misproducing words and frequently comes up with fantastic alternatives. There would be too many to list, but my personal favourite has got to be when Alex was 2 weeks overdue with Oliver. He rang me to tell me she was going into hospital to be seduced. First time there, then, eh? And even better, to tell me she was 1 metre dilated. He is quite simply a unique character. I do not know of any other person who has been so lazy as to not not go out and buy cat food to actually buy a Chinese takeaway for his cat. Sadly, though, said cat is no longer with us. It died a mysterious death of antifreeze poisoning only weeks after Alex moved in and said there was too many cats. An absolute mystery to us all. Now here's one that might ring true with one other member of the congregation here. John has on many occasions been responsible for getting us into situations we didn't even know was possible to exist. And he has a remarkable ability to get out of trouble. However, ironically, his best get out of trouble card was played when he hadn't actually done anything wrong. I will explain. He spent some time living with his mother in America for a while, and he discovered over there this item called trucker's pills. Basically, they're an American caffeine tablet, like Pro Plus, but with an American twist. And John discovered that having taken a couple of these caffeine tablets before you go out on the piss would save you from the fatigue that usually happens. Okay, so he bought a few, namely about 500, in something the size of a KFC bucket. Brought them home, and just before our second holiday to Faliraki, decided that it might be an idea to take a few with us. Now, against my request to maybe take them in the tub to prove what they are, he didn't. And he got a sandwich bag, and he emptied about 50 of these white, unmarked tablets into a sandwich bag, tied the knot, and chucked them in his bag. I said, John, that looks worse than dodgy. Whatever. We got off the plane, and our sounds of merriment had obviously attracted the attention of the Greek customs. And we was ushered away into a holding room for a vigorous body and examination. This wasn't a problem because we had nothing to hide. However, as we were standing there with our pants down our ankles, having various types of searches, all overseen by this Greek customs official, one of the staff members reached into John's bag, and with this utter delight of glee on his face, he pulled this bag of tablets out. Well, you've never seen anything like it. John's face turned pale. Sir, American citizen, he said. Legal, legal. The customs man was having absolutely nothing of it, and he insisted that his staff member took them away, presumably for testing. Absolutely fine. They'd go away, they'd be tested, and in about 5 minutes' time, be proved to be nothing more than about 10 cups of espresso. We'd be on our way. With this, John did what I consider to be the most stupidest thing anyone could ever do. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a €50 note. Now that wasn't worth 50 quid then, that was worth about 35. He walked over to this customs official, he tucked it into his top bloody pocket and patronisingly tapped it twice. I actually nearly cracked myself. All of a sudden, the customs official looked down at his pocket, looked at John. He shouted to his fleeing staff member with the bag of caffeine tablets. Got them to bring them back. He snatched them out of his hand, chucked them in John's bag, and said the only word of English that I'd heard that evening. Go. I would have paid money to have seen the footage of myself and John and Matt as we were fled from that room with our clothes undone. What a twat. But anyway, moving on from that, this is a wedding breakfast and I could go on till breakfast talking about this, and I'm not going to. Some advice for you, John, as a married man. There will be occasions when you will be right, but these will be rare. If you think there's a chance you are wrong, you probably are. You're better off just waking up and apologising. Today should be the happiest day of your life, and it will continue to be the date that you will both cherish and celebrate as each year passes. And the secret to ensuring that you always remember this day? Forget it just once. There will be times in your married life when you look back on today and just sit for hours longingly looking at your marriage certificate, as I can assure you I have done. And I can also assure you, there are no loopholes or get-out clauses. Ladies and gentlemen, John has been a fantastic friend to us all. He has been there when you want him, albeit sometimes when you don't. He has been a fantastic father to Ollie, and he will be a fantastic husband to Alex.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you recharge your glasses as I propose a toast to Mr. and Mrs. Gordon? Thank you very much.